Wasabi wallet. I'm fairly private.
What's up, everyone? Ben with the BTC Sessions here, and this is your daily session.
Hodl that Bitcoin.
Before we dive in, of course, shout out to sponsors of the show, Ledn.io. This is where you can use your Bitcoin for a couple of different services, one of which is to stack more sats using their Bitcoin savings account. So this is where you deposit and you earn interest on your Bitcoin paid in Bitcoin. And secondly, they also have a program where you can use your Bitcoin as collateral to secure a US or Canadian dollar loan. And the way that works is you can deposit in a dedicated account that is auditable 24/7. And upon the repayment of your loan, you get your Bitcoin sent right back to your original wallet. If you want to check out either of these services, there's a link down below. And if you opt to get a loan, they'll actually credit your account with an additional $50 worth of Bitcoin. Now, secondly, if you're into Bitcoin, of course, privacy is very important, and something I use all the time, every day on my phone, on my computer, is NordVPN. It does a few things. It helps hide your IP address, it encrypts your browsing data, and it has a few other added benefits, including being able to unlock geo-block content. So if there's something that you can't see in your country, you can just change your location and get access to it right away. There's a link down below if you want to check it out, and it will only be $3 a month via that special link. And with that, let's dive into the news. So I'm super excited about this. If you haven't seen, I did a video on my Casa Node, which I've had for quite some time now. It's purring away behind me, even though you can't see it. It's down on the shelf there. I've been using the Sats app. Now, what is the Casa Node? If you're unfamiliar, it allows you to run a full copy of the Bitcoin blockchain as well as a Lightning node, which you can then pair to a mobile app on your phone and be using your Lightning funds via your mobile app and link to your Casa Node as well. I've also linked my Blockstream Green wallet, which I use for on-chain Bitcoin transactions, to my Casa Node as well. So I'm basically not having to trust anybody. I have my own copy of the Bitcoin blockchain sitting there, and I reference it anytime I send or receive a Bitcoin transaction. So it's just a way of being self-sovereign. Well, they've just announced the Casa Node 2, so the new iteration of their node hardware. Now, I got mine about a year ago, a little bit less than that. I think I got it around December, but I've been really enjoying it. So what's new with the Casa Node 2? Well, it is in a much faster package. So it now uses a Raspberry Pi 4 with 4 gigabytes of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. It's got a new case, similar in size to the old Casa Node. They've also got a new operating system on it called Node OS, which looks great. So this is the device here. That's what it looks like. What I really like, though, is the OS on it. So it's got like its own dedicated software, which I think looks beautiful. It's clean and sleek. You can see there's a home with an overview of your Bitcoin balance and your Lightning balance. You can see kind of a node summary, how many peers you're connected to, Lightning channels, max send and receive, and then you can toggle into your Bitcoin wallet, your Lightning wallet. And we'll take a look at this here. They've integrated BTCpay Server, which is friggin' awesome, because now you have an easy way to set up via this hardware. Now, you can do this yourself anyways on your computer, but just to have a one-click shop is fantastic. BTCpay Server allows you to set up your own merchant software, your own server, where you're basically enabling yourself to be a merchant accepting Bitcoin or Lightning payments very easily. And so the way this works is much like a checkout at any online store. You set a price, you can peg that to like a fiat price, and it will dynamically generate invoices for your customers for whatever your service is, whatever you're charging for. People can go to your website and pay in Bitcoin or pay in Lightning, and you just get to receive it right off the bat without having to go through any sort of a third party. This is open source software, and I'm in line with the thinking of Matt Odell from Tales from the Crypt podcast, which is awesome. You should check it out. But he says that this is very much one of the most important projects in the space, allowing people to, as a merchant, accept payment seamlessly without a third party. Now, if you think about the nature of Bitcoin and Lightning, because the price can fluctuate, you often need to be quoting a price on the spot for your goods or services. Well, BTCpay automates that for you so that at the time of checkout, it will say, okay, well, the current price of Bitcoin is this, and you're trying to get a rough amount of this fiat dollars or this value in exchange for your services, and it will create that invoice on the spot, have a timeout window, 15-minute timeout, and the person can pay immediately via that portal. So it's really, really cool that this is built in. So what about price point here? It's looking like to get the new node, it'll be around $3.99. But this also comes with a year of the gold membership, which has kind of like this multi-sig key service. So they're like an extra signer for locked up Bitcoin, where you have 2 keys and they have a third, or you have 3 keys and they have 2 others. You can kind of do it however you like. But yeah, so that's just a service that they offer. Now, of course, you don't have to renew this service once you have the node. The node runs on itself. I'm currently not a Casa Gold member, although I could get that service. I haven't utilized it yet, to be honest. I've just been using my node as is. So it works like that. They also have Platinum and Diamond members, and those are for kind of large institutions that need extra security and extra care. Now, also they say that anybody who is already a Casa Gold member will be able to get the new box at the reduced price of $300 and be able to renew for $300, and that will just be for the lifetime of your entire membership if you continue to opt to get gold. And you'll always get new hardware at the reduced rate moving forward if you've been one of the original customers. And that's just kind of their thank you for being a customer very early on. So I'm very excited to take a look at this thing. I heard through the grapevine I might be able to get my hands on one a tad early, so if I do, I'll be sure to make a video, but I will let you know about that. Let me know, what do you think? Do you already have a Casa? Do you like it? Are you interested enough to get the new one? Let me know in the comments down below. Moving on, so QuadrigaCX, the now infamous Canadian exchange that went under, and the original owner, the person running it, was essentially embezzling the funds and mysteriously died in India while away. And it looks like a lot of the funds were essentially gone. They're starting to liquidate assets and pay out people who lost money as best they can. So what's happening right now? So they are liquidating assets belonging to the QuadrigaCX Bitcoin exchange. So Gerald's, his name was Gerald Cotton. His wife, what's the word I'm looking for? Essentially, she is liquidating a number of assets, and so she said, "I believe the settlement is fair and equitable, an equitable resolution for the QuadrigaCX affected users, which lets the trustee continue to do business of recovering as much as possible for the affected users in an efficient way that helps keep the trustee and legal fees as low as possible going forward. In return, the settlement will allow me to move on with the next chapter of my life." So she just wants to kind of move on. They're basically trying to round up all assets and get as much as possible to the affected users. It could be a few $1 million that they're able to kind of squeeze out of this. Now, keep in mind that it was like near $200 million that were gone. So it's not super reassuring here, but over 76,000 affected users, $190 million in both cryptocurrency and fiat essentially up in smoke. Now, the wife says that she was not aware of the embezzlement going on. She said, "I was not aware nor participated in Jerry's trading activities nor his appropriation of the affected users' funds. I was upset and disappointed with Jerry's activities as uncovered by the investigation when I when I first learned of them, and continue to be as we conclude this settlement." So what had happened is it looks like Jerry was taking user funds, pulling them off of the exchange unbeknownst to users, and going to other exchanges and more or less gambling with other people's money. He got in deep. He couldn't recover the funds. He kept on digging himself a deeper hole by trying to trade back the money in order to get back to make himself whole again, and it just didn't happen, and everything kind of came crashing to a head when he died of complications from Crohn's disease while traveling in India. Now a lot of people called question to that. There doesn't seem to be too much credence to that, but still people are very, very skeptical, as you would be if $190 million goes missing, right? So anyways, it looks like they're trying to get as much as they can for the affected users. It's super unfortunate, but it beckons to the fact that not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Know that when you leave Bitcoin with a trusted third party, you are doing just that. You are trusting the third party. So if you have to do it for any period of time, just be prepared that there could be consequences to those actions. There's nothing much more to say than that. If you have to have funds, or if you opt to have funds with a custodian, then check them out. See how trustworthy they are. Again, you can't really audit that, but you can do your best and see if they're well regulated, and only have a minimal amount with them if you decide to do so. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, and more often than not, it's best to keep things in your own custody. With that, let's move on to the next one. Oh God, these ETF stories, they're just wearing me down. I imagine most of you just don't care at this point. We've been hearing ETFs coming soon for years now. 2017, they got the smackdown pretty early on, but we've been hearing rumblings about it since 2016, maybe even before. Anyways, there's a deadline coming up on October 13th, so in a few short days here, where the SEC essentially has to say yes or no to Bitwise. That's one of the ETFs on the docket. They are saying, so these are the quotes from the guy from Bitwise. "We're closer than ever, than we've ever been before, to getting a Bitcoin ETF approved. Sometime before Monday, the SEC has to give its decision, yes or no. They have no more way to postpone it at this point. We will hear clearly between now and Monday what they think. 2 years ago, there were no regulated insured custodians in the Bitcoin market. Today, there are big names like Fidelity and Coinbase with hundreds of millions of dollars of insurance from firms like Lloyd's of London. With big institutions, while big institutions have safe, secure ways to buy Bitcoin and private funds that are available to the ultra high net worth people, regular investors don't have a safe way." So he's saying that this is it, the time's up, we're going to know soon. If I had to guess, it's not going to get approved. I don't think it's there yet. I don't think that the regulators yet know how to deal with anything. Obviously, I'm more inclined to wish that they would just let the market do its thing and let people invest in what they choose to, let people actively call out things that are scams, let people actively encourage things that are not, and have everything kind of be reputation based. And that would hopefully result in people being more conscious of where they put their money, more skeptical of things before investing in them, and really considering what they're doing with their money. But we've been babysat for a long time, and people just aren't used to that, and they feel like they need people to tell them what's a good investment and what's not. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think I think it will obviously eventually happen. But I think we've got a bit of a roadmap ahead of us, maybe a couple more years before we get into that realm. Regulators are slow, man. They're not going to just jump on this, and I'm not anticipating October 13th is going to be any different. I think we're just going to get a rejection, and I think more or less the market's just going to shrug it off and not care, because there's been so many rejections already at this point. So, Anyways, let's move on. One last story here. This is in regards to Lightning Network, in particular, the dropping capacity being reported. So with Lightning Network, there are two things that can be measured: the number of public nodes and the number of public channels. So a node, much like my Casa Node here, that is connected to the network, that's running essentially software that allows me to connect to Lightning, and a channel. So a channel coming from a node, connecting to another node, opening up and locking in some funds between the two of us that can be transacted and then pushed through other channels. So both of those metrics have been dropping, and a lot of people have been pointing to that, saying, oh no, this is not good for Lightning. This is worrisome. The Lightning Network is slowly failing. It seems that nobody's using it, but that can be very misleading. And why is that? It's because of the privacy functions that are becoming easier and easier to use on Lightning. So let's take, for instance, my Casa Node. There is a very simple toggle switch, a little button with a single click, where that node can then be connected via Tor by default. And so that node now becomes essentially invisible to the network, and nobody knows it's there, and nobody can see the IP address that it's coming from. Similarly, I can now also open up channels with myself and other peers and give them an onion address, which is, again, through Tor, and people cannot see the IP address it's originating from, and I can connect to as many peers as I choose to via my Lightning node, and open up channels and open up liquidity between myself and other people, which I have done. My node is connected through Tor, and I have multiple private channels. So what I anticipate you're actually seeing here is this easy accessibility. People are hitting that switch. People are deciding to route through Tor. Even in this article here, you have the guy behind Breeze Wallet, which is a mobile wallet, very, very easy onboarding in comparison to some other ways of using Lightning I've seen. So Breeze, Breez. The guys at TFTC, Matt Odell, again, did a tutorial on how to set it up. Super, super easy. I recommend you check it out. But they actually, by default, open up an incoming channel to your wallet when you start it. You run a full Lightning node on your phone, and when you start it up, it'll open up so you have some inbound capacity so that you can accept Lightning payments right away. And all of those channels that have been opened up, they're private. They're not publicly advertised. People cannot see those. So the CEO of Breeze Wallet was telling CoinDesk that they've been opening up thousands of private channels when it comes to their wallet. And that's just one company. Again, with Casa, with other options out there, with the Nodl, you can just flick a switch and everything is more or less private and obfuscated. And why wouldn't you do that? Why would you, unless you're a routing node and you want people openly connecting to you to help route payments and kind of pull, one sat fees here and there, why would you want to openly advertise that? You probably want to preserve your privacy. So more or less, these these metrics that are trying to be measured are going to become less and less reliable, and that's a beautiful thing. That's exactly what we want out of a layer 2 solution for payments that individuals are using for just day-to-day use. Of course you want to be private. You want your privacy. Use Tor. Use Tor, of course. It's right there for you. Click that toggle switch and make those metrics disappear. It'll be wonderful when those are completely misrepresentative of the Lightning Network, which I believe they kind of already are. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it there, guys. Of course, let me know what you think about Lightning. Are you using a Lightning node? Are you connected via Tor? And let me know about what you thought of the other stories today. If you're new here, of course, hit like, subscribe, and share. Always hit share. It's great to see new people popping up. Great to see you guys in the chat as well. If you want to help out the show, hit up the sponsors I mentioned, Ledn and Nord. Those links are down below. And also check out Wasabi Wallet for privacy on chain. Really great wallet, and I'm working with them now. Awesome. And Other than that, if you really want to help out the show because you loved what you saw today, then feel free to drop me a Lightning Network tip at my tippin.me page. With that, I am out. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you tomorrow for your daily session.